It's November 30th, 2014, and we want to know if Deathstroke could kill 100 ninjas with one eye, how many can he kill with two?
Has Brother I been getting all of his building supplies from Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated?
All this and more is coming up next. It's Season 2, Ep 9 of DCR, starting now.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the D, the C, and the R. I remain your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and I am joined, as I always am, by the eminence of comics, the keeper of uncle jokes, the Punmeister General. Do all of these titles suffice?
Actually, not this week. No.
No.
No, I am former Punmeister General, Brian Glein, who, as we all know, is currently living under the name Sneezy McGee.
Just right off the bat, ending the show. We're done. That's it. DCR is over due to Brian's bad puns. How are you doing today, sir?
Got a runny nose, man.
I know. We can power through. We're infinitely better than we were 2 weeks ago.
A little bee helped me out before the show, so we'll see.
We'll see. And we are also joined, guess what? We have the female voice once more. The little more ragey one, the little more salty, piratey one. Beth, you're here today.
Since when have I ever talked like a pirate?
Yar.
So I'm now Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, you
What?
pronounce everything yar.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to any of her songs, and every time she pronounces a word with R in it, she pronounces it yar.
And I came prepared.
Oh, you did?
No, actually, I didn't come prepared.
She was researching, like, dissertations on comic books and graphic novels.
I was trying to find out what the appeal is, and there has to be some psychosocial
So she was doing
type thing.
science.
And let me tell you, comic book readers, you guys are really lacking in some of that evidence, and dissertations are just dry. But they did talk about Constantine.
No.
Yeah, and how they think the new version sucks. Someone did their entire dissertation on how the new 52 Constantine isn't as good as Hellblazer. Hey, you know, it's your money. You spend it the way you want to. But what we're going to do this week is what we do each and every week, and that is go over all of the books that came out from DC Comics in their new 52 line. We're going to talk about things that happen in them. We're going to talk about some of the characters, some of the plot beats, storylines, character development. And as such, if you do not want your book spoiled, you do not want to listen to this episode, because we will be spoiling them. Consider yourself warned. We're only going to do one question.
Okay.
We do have a glut of books for the week, as you know, and it was a Sean heavy week, so you got to pick up some of mine this week. We get to find out what you thought of those. So our one question for this week is going to come in from Lex Garcia, who says, I understand that JLA was canceled, but what happened to all of the characters in the team? I know that Stargirl and Martian Manhunter are doing their own thing in JLU, but what about Vibe or Hawkman? Also, did they ever say why Martian Manhunter was attacking the Justice League in Justice League number 7? I just want to know what happened to all of these loose ends. Well, we can at least answer some of those for you.
Hawkman's currently fighting the JLU.
Yeah, he's kind of teammates with them.
He died and he blamed them, so he's like, oh, I'll hang out with the villains now.
Yeah.
Ha.
I mean, it is that super awesome Thanagarian guy. Well, I guess he's not Thanagarian, is he? The villain in that one. From the cartoon as well.
Yeah,
he was
Beth.
a Thanagarian. Yeah, Beth. So, I mean, he has a reason to hang out there. He's having fun.
I guess.
Being Hawkman.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves Hawkman.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Vibe got shunted off into another dimension.
He's running somewhere.
Yes, that's all we know. We just got a one-panel flash of him fleeing from something after the whole Pandora's box opened up the dimensional rift. He got sucked into somewhere. That's all we know. We're anxiously waiting his return as well.
Especially with his newfound prominence in mainstream media.
Yes.
Man.
He could name all the villains. He could just
Yes.
stand in the back of on the watchtower and just be like, and this guy's gonna be named Blockbuster, and this guy's gonna be named, Chili Guy, and
Gonna be Crazy Quilt.
As for the second question, no, they have not answered the question as to why Martian Manhunter and the JLU, or the Justice League, got into their big fight, and Martian Manhunter left the team. It's a mystery that is still out there. Ooh, mystery.
I have a question.
Ooh, what's your question?
I didn't know that Lex was a Dominican-type Mexican/Spanish name.
Why is that?
His last
It
name
could have
is
been short
Garcia.
for something.
Like what?
I don't know. That's just an odd question.
No, no offense. I'm just asking.
Maybe it's short for Lexington.
That's a way off of
Alexius. Lexorama. I don't know. These
Alexander?
We just lost
I
the
guess
listener.
if you want to go mundane, yeah. Yeah, Alejandro.
Don't call my name.
No.
I'm sorry. But that's it. That'll be all of our questions for this one, because we have so many books. So let's stop the dilly-dallying and jump forward into this week's books. All right, I'm leading off the charge. I figured we're starting off a new show. Mm-hmm. We have people here, so why not start?
We have
beginning?
people here.
We do. I'm here.
You
You're
never
here.
have
You're
people
here.
here. You usually have people.
Sometimes it feels like it's just me in this room, where I've just been talking to myself. It's all the unreleased episodes of DCR of me just rambling crazy into the microphone.
You work on your Brian bot.
Yeah, we just staged a boycott against you. It's not a problem.
But I figured we'd start at the beginning, and what better beginning is there?
You got your "and we're back" sounder, and
That's
you're
it. I'm
halfway
done.
there. Yeah.
I'm fine. And then just random crazy make-em-up names to throw into Future's End. But we're going to start with Secret Origins number 7. What better place to start, really? This is basically broken down into 3 little vignettes of 3 different characters. The first one that we're going to cover is Barry Allen, aka The Flash, and the cheapest, the easiest, the most efficient way of doing this is for me to just play this.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man alive. When I was a child, I saw my mother killed by something impossible. My father went to prison for her murder. Then an accident made me the impossible. To the outside world, I'm an ordinary forensic scientist, but secretly, I use my speed to fight crime and find others like me. And one day, I'll find who killed my mother and get justice for my father. I am the Flash.
That's right, the TV show can sum it up in 30 seconds or less, because he is Barry Allen, got Flash powers after his mom was murdered, his dad went to jail for the murder even though he didn't commit it, became a CSI agent to exonerate his father, and then became the Flash, and has been running around ever since.
So you just repeated it?
Well, yeah, I figured I'd just, add the personal touch. This particular vignette had a more focus on the character itself, the emotional side, him being alone without his family there, stuff like that. So, there was some stuff, as far as good reading, and at the end we get to see that there was someone in the room with his father and he can't remember it. That's like the one thing that his mind keeps blocking out from when he was a child. The second vignette that I'm going to do a little out of order. We're going to do Superboy, who's gone into Star Labs to have a blood sample taken.
Wait, we have to go through the origins of
Secret
Superboy.
Origins of Superboy!
He was grown in a test tube.
Okay, very good. What happened after that?
He came out of the test tube.
Yes, he did. The dramatic pause really sold that plot beat right there. But he's trying to find out more about his past. They're going to run a DNA test, and as he's doing so, he's telling the Star Lab scientist about his origins, where he was raised in this test tube. He's a clone of the alternate future timeline of the son of Lois Lane and Superman. And then all sorts of wonky stuff happened. He joined the Teen Titans. He ended up dying in the past on Krypton. And as he's telling the story, he's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. And this is where it gets really weird. I died then, but then I was the harbinger for some space guy, but then he let me quit my job because the future me that I was cloned from came back into the past, so then we had to fight, but then we teamed up because a more evil version of me was out there that was cloned for both of us, so we fought him.
Yay!
And at the end, he's just kind of like, you know what? can we just reset this? Can we just ignore any of this happened? Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
I'm
don't
going
care.
to forge forward and make my own path.
Yep, that's exactly what he says. He goes, I don't care about my past. Forget all that craziness. I'm Superboy. I'm gonna go do Superboy things. And as he walks out the door before the test finishes, of course we get one final monkey wrench because the DNA test comes back and it's 45% Kryptonian, 45% human, and 10% unknown. Ooh. It's a nice little mystery that they can go forward with on the guy, at least. So they have
feel
something.
like it.
And they swept everything that happened prior right under the rug. They were just like, just forget all that. I don't even care myself.
I'm going to place a bet that it's 10% pumpkin spice.
It could be. 'Tis the season. 10% pumpkin spice. I don't think I could deal with Superboy.
Me neither.
Yeah, I think I would just be right done with that book right then and there. The last one we're going to do, which is the one I want to talk about the most, is Huntress. The child, Helena Wayne, the child of Earth 2 Batman and Earth 2 Catwoman. And Brian, I don't know if you actually took a look at this one. I told you a couple days ago.
At it, yeah.
What do you think of the art in this one?
Very, like American, like early 2000s American anime style.
Yeah. Yeah, it has an American cartoon style, but with some anime stylings to it. It's very vibrant, very colorful, kind of playful, which kind of works because we are telling the story of an 8-year-old girl, essentially. Mm-hmm. And she is being raised at home, homeschooled. She thinks she's just like every other kid, learning things like Sanskrit, ancient Sumerian architecture, dodging bullets. Those home kids, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Second grade.
So many advantages over we public school kids because I cannot dodge a single bullet. I can't even dodge when Beth throws my car keys at my head. I'm at a disadvantage. I bet you if I had a charter school.
Blind.
Well, there is that. There is that. You can actually throw it at my face and I just go, is something flying towards me? Oh my goodness, it is! But she ends up...
I worked at a charter school.
She ends up having, because she successfully dodged all the bullets her mom, Catwoman, was shooting at her, she gets to have story time where they read her The Legend of Robin Hood. And this Robin Hood looks a lot like Damian from our Earth. But with a bow and arrow, and he has the hood. And even on Earth 2, Damian cannot stop getting flack for wearing that hood. They're like, oh, that hood is so horrible. It's bad for vision. You can't see out the sides. It's like, dude, why is everyone railing on his hood?
Boo.
But story time is interrupted when Batman comes home, and I just kind of see him coming, walking through the door like, hey, honey. And then his daughter starts screaming, you're wearing the scary suit. Get out of here, Dad. You're scaring me. And you just kind of see his shoulders slump, and he's like, oh, I work so hard. Batman just wants peace and quiet.
You do the worst Batman ever.
I know. That's kind of the fun in it. I like my bad Batman. But of course, Catwoman gives out all the sexual innuendo that somehow Helena Wayne does not get, oh, I guess I need to go lick your wounds as sexual innuendo, and just rolls over and goes to sleep. But time passes, they grow up, and it's time for Helena to join the Capes and Cowls and come out with Catwoman on the patrol route. And she is so proud of herself. Catwoman has put together a new character design for her. Here's your new costume, skin tight, showing some cleavage. Yeah, look at this. And it's kind of bad when your 10, 12-year-old daughter goes, yeah, that's a little mature for my taste. You're not very good at this mom thing. Just FYI, I'm just gonna go as Robin Hood. I'm gonna make something off of that. So she makes a Robin costume because that is what the design looked like in her fairy tale. Of course, her mom dies as Apocalypse is about to attack. We saw all this in the Zero issue of World's Finest. She goes to try to avenge her mom, almost gets killed. Apocalypse ends up attacking. She gets shunted off over to Prime Earth, hangs out with her best pal, best friend forever, Power Girl. They end up making their way back, and that's where they are now, back on Earth 2, just as everything's hunky-dory over there. Earth 2's falling apart. What did you think of this Huntress origin?
She was not licking enough cupcakes seductively.
No, there was no origins of cupcakes.
At no point did her and Power Girl get ice cream.
They did
or
not
gelato,
have a pillow fight.
Or Frogurt.
No.
Or,
not even a bunt cake.
I know. At no point did they dance around a countertop while singing into, like, whisks and spatulas.
Or the backs of hairbrushes.
Yeah.
There was no big chill scene where they got to sing and dance. I mean, it's
Are these all things that happened prior? I don't understand.
When she and Power Girl were hanging out for like 20 odd issues, they ate a lot of dessert. A lot of dessert. Like every issue.
When girls are friends, they eat dessert together.
I guess I have no friends.
A lot of ice cream, a lot of cupcakes. Just everywhere they went, they were like, okay, our new mission's in Italy. You know what we should get? We should get some Italian ice over here.
Let's run around some boy shorts before we do any actual superheroing.
I guess I lie. That's not true. There are a lot of cupcakes and there are a lot of ice creams. But there are no singing into hairbrushes unless you're singing Sean's favorite Christmas song.
Oh, I hate this. Oh, that All I Want for Christmas Is You song. It's already struck once. Before Thanksgiving even ended, I was like, I hate you song.
I have issues with Paul McCartney's Christmas song, so I feel your pain.
Yeah.
So atonal.
So let's move forward. We've covered Secret Origins. We've had some new books start recently, and we had a new book of our own for this week.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
You're just staring at me blankly.
I'm so enwrapped in what you're saying, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. All right, Gotham by Midnight, #1 by
After midnight. We're
Okay.
gonna let it all hang out.
All right. By OMG Ray Fox and Ben Templesmith. So, Gotham City is cursed, poisoned by shadow. It can't possibly survive without protection. Chapter 1, We Do Not Sleep.
Okay, well.
As the most perfect first page I've seen in a good long time.
Yes, very much
Since,
so.
like, the Superman, All-Star Superman first page. Fantastic.
Was that the super quick
Superman's
recap?
origin, 4 panels.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you see Gotham City's terrible. You see Jim Gordon and Batman planning out, shaking hands with Jim Corrigan. You see everyone standing together triumphantly. It's like, oh yeah, bam, let's get going, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They really didn't kind of drag their feet with starting this off. It was we formed a task force to deal with all the crazy crap.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, so Sergeant Rook, he is from Gotham City's Internal Affairs Department, and he is investigating GCPD's Detailed Case Task Force, which seems to be headed up by a Lieutenant Weaver, who's just a smiley guy with a goatee this issue.
Okay.
Sort of hanging out. It's like, oh, hey, Sergeant Rook, how's it going? So, I love the fact that we immediately start with Sergeant Rook going, what the heck is a detailed case? What, 2 officers, 2 consultants, what is this? Or why are you bleeding the Gotham City Police Department dry? Jim Gordon created this fraudulent subcommittee. I'm gonna shut you down.
Oh!
Yeah. So we start off, we meet the consultants, who is Xandor Tar, if I'm saying that correctly. He is a forensics guy. He's investigating an adorable little doughboy made of salt. It doesn't fit the rest of the issue at all. It looks fantastic.
What did the Pillsbury Doughboy do?
He committed murder.
He took too many crescents from the table.
Yes,
We found the body and all they could hear was hee
Yes.
running down the hall.
There's a gemstone inside of him. We're trying to get it out, but every time we poke his belly, it just laughs. It used to be it used to be human. It doesn't look human at all. It's very interesting. And also a Sister Justine, who is a nun who is an expert in things. You know, the occult.
Nun things. Like flying. Nuns are good at flying.
Yes. Nuns are good at flying, being on the run, you know. So, and then there's also the 2 officers, the 2 detectives who are working under Weaver. We've got Jim Corrigan, also known as the Spectre, but in his civilian detective guise, he can also sense things that are supernatural just by touch.
Well,
I'm not sure if this was covered in Batman Eternal
we've
or
had
not.
very, very minimal stuff with him.
Yeah, so
we just know he's the right hand of God, God's vengeance and wrath.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I think he's using the right hand when he does that too, now that I think about it. But yeah, Batman meets up with him at the Gotham City Gargoyle Factory and gives him cases to suss out the ones that are real crimes and which ones are ghost crimes. And he's also got his partner, Detective Drake, who has always wanted to be a cop since she was a kid. I love the fact that Jim Corrigan wanted to be a fire truck when he was a kid.
Yes.
And she wishes that he would let her take more charge in these cases. She's aware of the supernatural and she wants to help. And apparently no one knows that Corrigan can call on or transform into the Spectre, whatever he's doing in the new 52.
Yeah, it's still kind of on the DL.
It's not like very cut and dry, like
Batman
with the demon,
knows, obviously,
yeah.
but
So, as I said before, Rook wants to shut down the detailed case task force. And so Corrigan invites him on a ride along. Oh yeah, you're going to see some crap here, buddy. You're going to see some crap.
welcome to Gotham City's seedy underbelly of the occult. FYI, Gotham City's normal top side of the occult already creepy enough.
Yes.
You're going to the seedy underbelly.
So they investigate a wealthy family whose daughters were missing, and then they came back. And it was like, oh, well, this case is solved. It's like, no, not so much. And they go and they visit the family, and the daughters can now only talk in a creepy nonsense language. And there is a mark on their porch, and Corrigan thinks it's a black flower of Slaughter Swamp.
Huh.
Yeah.
Where have I seen that before, Brian?
I know, right?
Where have you seen it before?
7 Soldiers of Victory.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It's
where Solomon Grundy was born, but all sorts of weird crap goes down
He
there.
was born on a Monday, just
Yes.
in case you didn't know.
I always thought it was Thursday.
Nope. Now you know. Knowing's half the battle.
So
He's born on a Thursday.
Yeah. So he leaves Drake behind with the girls so Sister Justine can come and take a look at them. And Jim goes with Rook to Slaughter Swamp. And as they wade through the swamp, things start getting weirder. They get a really bad feeling. The girls start going crazier and clawing at the walls and jumping through end tables and whatnot. And Rook and Corrigan come across a small house in the middle of the swamp, which contains a faceless demon nun teaching a room full of kidnapped children.
Did they build a castle into that swamp?
No, that would be silly.
Did it burn down, fall over, and then sink into the swamp?
They built another one on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really bizarre for a number 1. Are you sure I'm not missing something?
No. That was a great first issue. It introduced all the characters perfectly. It set up the setting of the world. The artwork sold everything perfectly.
And yeah.
It actually looked dark.
Yeah.
It looked dark and creepy and weird and unsettling as opposed to say...
I could make a dark comic. Just paint it black.
Well, yes, I know.
But it's done in this like cartoonish,
it's like a
child's like vision.
Not like
of
child.
it.
No, it's way too detailed to be childlike. But
but you know what I mean. Where it's got like almost this lens of innocence over top of it, even.
Yeah.
Where it's all creepy nightmare stuff, but almost softened to a point where it's like,
when the girls go crazy, they literally turn into cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Like just visually, just to make it even more unsettling that all these, Vertigo browns and beiges painted over everything are,
happy.
Yeah.
It was really well done though. It just came out of the gate running. Didn't really stop to go,
the ultra polished superhero house style of Justice League Dark looks like clown shoes compared to this.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You just came out of the gate swinging yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
like
it's got a real sense of, it reminds me of Hellboy, but like as a spiritual, partner, not even a partner. You know what I'm saying? It
like
feels
the
like
BPRD type stuff.
It's the same kind of tone, but it feels like its own thing at the same time.
Sure.
Like if you like this, I can recommend this. As opposed to say the first few issues of the Frankenstein from the beginning of the New 52 that I read, I'm like, oh, this is just trying to be DC's
weird.
This is just trying to be DC's Hellboy. Like literally down to like the team of monsters.
Okay. Well, yeah, there was that, but then that went really weird,
sure,
like 50s sci-fi.
Okay.
Weird. I mean, by the end of that series,
I didn't make it past the first 2 issues. I'm like, okay, if I want to read Hellboy, I can just
by
read
the end
Hellboy.
of that series, he was inside a giant Leviathan punching its internal organs to try to I mean, that they had built a science city inside this whale that floated around. I mean, it got really weird.
Okay. I'll have to go back and check those out, I suppose.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It just got strange by the end of it, though. This one, it feels like a successor to BPRD set in the DCU, i.e., the little flowers, they're little things, but they tie it in really, really well to the occult that's already been established in the DCU.
I will say this, I was expecting more, Twitter-based comedy and like, crowdsourced jokes.
What's that?
Oh, that'd be Gotham at Midnight.
Yes, that would be Gotham at Midnight.
My mistake. My mistake.
Chris Hardwick, how are you here now? You're everywhere. So yes, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Beth, are you giving it 2 thumbs up?
I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There's a swamp, there's some girls.
It's spooky paranormal Gotham.
Paranormal cops.
Wait, how is that different than normal Gotham?
Because normally it's like mass murderers and crime bosses and stuff like that, or just crazy people killing other people. This is more the magic, mysticism, occult type stuff.
But they only dedicated 4 people to it?
Yeah, that's all you need. One of them is the right hand of God's vengeance. I mean, really all you need is that guy. He grows giant and just smotes things.
Sure.
The other 3 are there, I guess, to clean up the mess and do the paperwork. Yeah. And a nun, just in case.
And a nun.
All right. I'll buy it.
All right. So moving on, another newer book, Arkham Manor #2, that has some interesting ties to other books that I wasn't expecting. And this one, Arkham Asylum burned down. It actually collapsed into a giant sinkhole. Afterwards, Wayne Manor was given to the city, seized by the city. I guess we'll find that out here in a little bit, and was turned into the new asylum for the criminally insane. So now basically they're all in Wayne Manor. Bruce Wayne got kicked out. Now inmates are being killed in his own home, and he needs to find out nobody kills people in my house. So he has donned a disguise as this guy named Jack Shaw, pretended he went crazy, and got himself locked up into his own home. Make sense?
No.
Basically, Batman has to infiltrate the asylum to figure out who's causing murders there. It just happens to be his house is the asylum.
I'm just trying to figure out who decided, I'm going to put it in your house.
The government, because it was a big spooky manor. Spooky manor, and you have to have that if you're going to be the new Arkham. As he's in there, though, he's going to solve these murders by attending group therapy, which is just actually very funny. Mr. Freeze, since they don't have an actual facility for him, they've locked him in the refrigerator, and he has to communicate with this floating robot head, and he's just totally embarrassed that that's what he's been reduced to. Very weird humor tone in this particular issue.
You want to hug it out, Mr. Freeze? Like, no, I cannot.
Supervillains in refrigerators. Man, they hate supervillains at DC.
Yep.
But Eric Border, we know him from elsewhere. He comes in as one of the doctors.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? It means, if you knew in French, Bordeaux means the jester, and Eric is short for
the
it's
Norwegian.
the Joker in disguise. So, he comes in and says, Mr. Zaz is missing! And people are being murdered. So I don't know, put 1 and 1 together. You gotta do that yourselves. So Batman goes to try to find him and get the lay of the land when he sees this older guy in a wheelchair, and he seems to know who it is, and they don't tell us, and he's like, oh, this guy's dangerous. So he calls up Eric Border and says, you better wheel this guy off by himself. I have no idea who this guy was supposed to be whatsoever, but I guess they'll follow up on that thread later. He continues his investigation. As he's doing so, he walks by one of the rooms where a Sybil Silverlock, name sound familiar to you?
Yes.
Is there being kept in an induced coma. And she was going by the name Calamity. And he's like, oh, if she ever wakes up again, it's going to be hell to pay for Gotham City. We have to keep her in a coma.
Holy calamity.
Yeah, holy
Dream
calamity.
insanity.
Well, that was one of the links I was like, didn't expect to see that there. Of course, this being Gotham Academy, the main character that we're following is Sybil Silverlock's daughter, Olive.
Yeah.
So, and one of the big mysteries from that book is what happened with her mom the summer prior. So we're starting to fill in some of those holes there.
So what's Olive's nickname?
Teenage girl.
Yeah. Ollie.
Teenage girl that messes up her room. I don't know.
Yeah,
how do you follow up Calamity?
She's got an awesome choice of posters. We know that much.
Yeah, she has a really cool geek chic design company that she orders from.
Mm.
We all want her stuff.
You would.
I know I do. So he ends up getting locked up in his room, and as he's in there, he sees the guy in the cell across him is being murdered by someone. So he picks his lock, goes busting in and starts fighting this guy. We never see who it is, but he thinks it's Mr. Zaz. And as he's fighting him, the guards show up and go, this inmate's out of his cell. What the hell? And they club him over the back of the head. He gets a concussion and comes to and says, hey, someone else is in here murdering this guy because this guy's head has been drilled into with a power drill. I don't know, some sort of like low rent lobotomy. And Eric Border's like, I don't know what you're talking about. No one else is in here. And as we see in the final panel, someone that looks like a spider is just in the ducts watching all of this happen. And
Spider-Man.
no, not Spider-Man. Man-Spider.
Oh. The DC answer to Marvel's character.
Arachnoman. No, I don't know who it is. It's like this weird, I don't know if it's like night vision goggles. It's got like multiple eyes on this little hat thing that he's wearing.
Okay.
So we'll see. All about eyes this week in all of the comics, it seems.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see though. It was, as I said, it's tying in a bit more and a lot more humor. A lot more humor in this one than I was expecting.
Does not sound funny at all.
It's not supposed to be. From the first issue we got, it was very Batman going into the seedy underbelly of his own home and the...
I was gonna say he has the seedy underbelly of his own home.
Well, yeah, there's the Batcave underneath.
So everybody knows where his hideout is.
Well, no, it's been sealed off, so they're all up in the house above. But you would think if the Joker is walking around as one of the doctors there...
He knows his way in.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows his way around the building.
He can plan dinner parties in the Batcave.
Yes. So, interesting turn of events in that one. I think I have another one, though.
Yes, you do.
I do, because we had another number 2 for a new book. Beth, guess who got a new series?
Deadshot.
I hate you. I hate you. Deathstroke, number 2! Yeah! And to make things worse, last issue he got shot, stabbed, hacked up.
Deadshot.
No, Deathstroke got all stabbed up. And when he came to, he crawled to like this ancient Tibetan master. And when he woke up, he
saw a bunch of ninjas.
No, not yet.
Oh.
He's been de-aged and turned into the Deathstroke from Arrow.
So he's a baby Deathstroke.
No, he's like the Australian hot guy that you liked, Manu Bennett.
No. He was only good in Spartacus.
Okay, he looks like Crixus then. He looks like Crixus, the Gaul. But
I'm all about that. See?
I know you are.
See, Kelly has her little Flash guy.
Her little Flash guy.
Yeah, Barry Allen.
You so undersell him.
Yes.
He's her little Flash guy.
As opposed to your Australian man.
That's right.
But he has woken up. He has his eye back. He's been de-aged. First thing he checks is his package, and he's like, yeah, Deathstroke's back in business.
He didn't check the fact that he has 2 eyes.
Nope. He got his depth perception back, so
Yeah.
he's like, oh, look at how big it is now.
Or he was really disappointed.
Yeah, oh. Deathstroke's been living a lie. But then he's confronted by some guy in a suit with a black mask with a big red F on it. And who introduced himself as Red Fury. And I was like, okay, that's better than what I thought you were going to be called. And he comes up and says, hey, Deathstroke, you agreed to a job that I gave you months back. And it was so dangerous, so crazy, that afterwards we both agreed that you would wipe your memory of that job, and now I need you to remember the details. And Deathstroke goes, that doesn't sound like something I would do. And he's like, well, I paid you $26 million in gold. That kind of changed your mind. He's like, yeah, that kind of does like something I would do then.
Does he not remember his fight with the possum or whatever that guy's name was?
Yes, the possum. So this Red Fury guy gives him this, vial of gunk and says, just drink that, you'll remember everything. Oh, but it looks like you have friends, because it looks like 300 ninjas have come to attack you.
I thought you said there were no ninjas.
Oh, there's ninjas.
Oh, okay.
These ninjas are wearing like masks that are one single eye. So they're cyclopses.
So they're trying to make fun of him?
Cyclopes. Is it cyclopes? What's the plural of cyclops?
Cyclopses?
Cyclopsians. That's what they are. There's a whole bunch of them attacking with
Cyclopi.
ninja sword. Yeah, whatever. They're attacking with ninja swords, and he's like, oh no!
Cycloptopi.
I didn't like ninjas when I was old, and I don't like ninjas now. And he literally... There's one thing that I've noticed when it comes to Deathstroke. It's the only book that details how many people are attacking him. You know what I mean? Where like a whole army of people will attack any other character in any of their other books, and they're like, oh no, this is a lot of guys, and they fight their way through. Deathstroke is literally like, 1,000 ninjas have attacked me on a train. And here he's like, 300 ninjas have attacked me at this castle. And as he's fighting, he's like,
like the Rain Man counting ability.
Well, as he's fighting them, he's like, only 191 left to go. As he's hacking them all up. He does have this whole thing where he's like, well, I'm having issues with depth perception because I keep wanting to open my eyes, so he keeps having to shut his eyes so he can actually shoot people correctly. So I guess he's having issues with the whole 2-eye thing. So he ends up fighting his way out, interrogates one of them, and they say they were sent by Odysseus, who is looking for Deathstroke because he has the ability to make him a god. Shrugs, whatever. Elsewhere, the League of Assassins are also not happy to hear Deathstroke is alive, so Lady Shiva has sent Bronze Tiger along with more ninjas to go get Deathstroke.
How many more ninjas? Why don't they realize they just fail?
No, I
Stop
think it's
sending ninjas.
I think it's the whole Zap Brannigan thing. They figure once Deathstroke reaches his predetermined ninja kill count, he'll shut down and they can haul him in. They're just trying to hit that number.
It took me a while to even remember who Zap Brannigan was.
Everyone should remember Zap Brannigan from Futurama. It was good. That was one of my favorite quotes was, my greatest victory against the death bots of Rylon 7. We sent wave of wave after our men after them until they reached their predetermined kill count, and then they all shut down. I won a medal for that one. At the end, though, we do get our little teaser for the next issue. Deathstroke decides to
He loses an eye.
No, he trips and gets poked in the eye by a branch. Oh, it was so close. He drinks that little gunk and remembers the mission back when he was killing ninjas and broke his way into this place where Odysseus was holding his son Jericho captive, and it looked like he was going in to break him free. Jericho seems to have a bit of a fan base.
He does?
From his Teen Titans days?
I guess when he wore that horrible billowy shirt and had the weird blonde
I don't know.
afro.
There was, a lot of stuff online was like, hey, it's Jericho, he's back. Yay, I liked him in Teen Titans. And I was like, okay. I remember him in Deathstroke during their whole family
battles. I remember
battles.
looking at him from the future, looking back to the past. I'm like, wow, he looks terrible. His code name is Jericho. He couldn't think of anything better. Okay.
Well, there was a wrestler named Jericho too.
Didn't have a blonde afro.
No, he did not. No, he did not. But he did bring the walls down.
Yes.
So,
John, you are missing something genius happening over on this side.
What's happening on this side?
Brian is amazing.
I'm a master of invention.
What have you done?
My phone perfectly hooks into the microphone stand.
Wow, I did not.
It is fantastic.
So at some point in the near future, we're probably going to hear clump, clump, and oh, wait a second, and when his phone falls
there
out.
There goes my deposit.
So move forward. You have the Flash.
I've got the Flash 36.
Do you need me to just play the little thing?
Yeah. He doesn't have a sound effect yet, though. I'm very upset. He's got the little lightning crackle, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do you like the Nike swoosh?
Well, you could do that, but like Arrow has the bwee.
Yeah.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, whenever they go to break or end, it ends with that dun, 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 bwee.
I don't pay attention.
You don't pay attention to anything.
You find out Felicity used to have black hair. Dun, 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 dun.
I dye my hair.
So, Flash 36. The future Flash has come back. I will from here on out refer to him as Tron Flash.
Okay.
He is come back to the present. He restored a tear in the Speed Force and also blew up the current Flash and is now young, and he is taking our Flash's place.
Yeah, he kind of hip-checked him into the tear and then went, yoink, I'm the new Flash.
Yep, he's in the present. He's young again. He's like, all right, I'm going to take Flash's place. I'm going to go back into my old life. It's awesome. I'm going to mac on my old girlfriend, and I'm going to be nice to Wally West because he's going to die later. I'm going to not remember how crappy my old workplace was and how everyone hated me. I'm not going to remember that my boss this is a great scene where he asks, hey, boss, want to go on a double date with me and Patty? And he's just like, how do you, double date? How do you know I'm dating anyone? I'm a single straight male. I'm certainly not gay and dating a supervillain. What are you talking about?
I love that whole dynamic, though. That's such a great turn for those characters.
Yeah.
Just because it is being kept, not just the secret of him being gay, but the whole, like, and I'm dating a supervillain.
Yes. So, it takes Wally to go check out a bunch of impounded cars and helicopters. And, also, the Fugitron Flash decides he's going to go all precog and hunt down and kill future murderers. Who haven't done anything yet.
Like,
brutally murder.
Fist through internal organs.
Yeah,
and just
vibrating his hand through their chest and exploding their hearts.
Wait, so people that he knows that are going to become murderers, he's just going to cut them off at the pass?
Yeah, he's from 20 years in the future, and he knows who got, not even people that he wasn't able to stop, people that didn't go to jail, like they got off on technicalities or the evidence wasn't good enough.
They were arrested by Channing Tatum. He did not know the Miranda rights.
Nope. Stupid Channing Tatum. C-Tates.
Why didn't he just go the route of let's try to rehabilitate them?
Because he's from the future. Everyone
evil.
from the future
People
is
don't
evil.
change.
And also, our Flash is now stuck in the Speed Force where all of time is coming into it as well. So some days there's dinosaurs, some days there's robots, whatever the artist wants to draw that day. And there's this dystopian goggles guy that tells Barry he's pretty much stuck there and he better get used to it. So we're going to go hang out in our Ewok village / Dinotopia fort. And that's where we're going to hang out now.
So, welcome to the Flash.
Yeah.
Dinotopia. What'd you think? Come on. Lay it out.
It's a new direction.
You were hoping for more from Future Flash, or you don't like the fact that Barry's stuck in the Speed Force?
I don't know. I'm waiting it out. It's certainly, it's fun, wacky sitcom, dynamics with the Future Flash trying to remember, like, what everything is and stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to show you where the cars are impounded. Let's go this way. You mean to the left? Yes, I'm going to go to the left. That's where I was going originally. I don't know what you're talking about.
At the same time, though, I understand your hesitation for a fresh start where we're dealing with these characters in the present and we have all these myriad different routes we could take to explore these characters and things that are going on in their lives. There's a lot of future versions of characters coming back to the present day in the New 52.
Yeah.
Seems to be a well you would go to much later.
Yeah.
To me, at least. Where you kind of started to exhaust some of your current ones. But I can see what they're doing with this one, where they're kind of using it as a foil to see evil Barry Allen and good Barry Allen, and how that, I guess it's kind of like a superior Flash
kind of
thing. I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes.
Nice little Miss Francis Mantle.
Yeah. Can't get him.
Where's he at?
I don't know.
Where you at, dog?
I don't know.
I got my Boost mobile phone. Where you at?
So we're going to continue on before you just go way tangent on us. Earth 2 World's End number 8. Beth, what do you think is happening in a book called World's End?
Oh yeah, he's on Batman.
They're rebuilding something.
No, they are not. They're actually ending something, it seems, because Earth 2 is being destroyed. Apocalypse just showed up. Wants to take Earth 2 to make it their new home planet.
Wait, this isn't the same storyline that I was on last time, like 2 months ago, is it?
I think it was, actually.
Is he still creeping his way through the universe trying to get to Earth 2?
Well, kind of. He showed up. Apocalypse, the entire planet, made it there. It boom tubed in. Destroyed the moon.
I thought he didn't boom tube in. I thought he just had to travel.
Wait, Apocalypse? The planet? Yeah, they can only make short jumps, apparently. I don't know. They're running low on gas, so they can only make short hops. So they short hopped in right on top of the moon and blew it up, and now all the pieces of the moon are falling onto Earth 2. Just to add some more death and destruction to what's already going on. So that leaves Green Lantern, Alan Scott up there trying to block the moon fragments from hitting Earth.
Who's Alan Scott?
The Green Lantern of Earth 2. So remember, Earth 2 has kind of their versions of a lot of characters. Yeah. Alan Scott, instead of it being Hal Jordan on Prime Earth, it's Alan Scott on Earth 2. Make sense?
Sure.
Okay. But because he's up there blocking all the moon pieces, that leaves the other part of his Captain Planet team, the white Avatar and the gray Avatar, Solomon Grundy, and his dead ex-fiancé, Sam, to be overrun by the three Furies of Apocalypse, who are basically just mauling both of them and tearing them apart.
I feel like you're glossing over something.
Like what?
So,
Captain Planet powers?
Captain Planet powers.
Yep.
somebody who's already dead is doing something.
Yep.
And Solomon Grundy.
Yes, and Solomon Grundy, who was in fact born on a Monday, not a Thursday. Basically, Alan Scott, before he became Green Lantern, he was engaged to this guy named Sam, and then he died in a train accident.
So it's a guy named Sam.
Yeah, this Green Lantern is gay.
Comics are progressive.
Actually, there's quite a few. Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get their mix in there.
This is the second one in a row.
Actually, I'm going to come back to that because there's another character that's introduced a little bit later that kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit. But anyhow, yeah, his fiance died in the train wreck, but now he's come back as the avatar of the atmosphere. Basically, each part of the Earth has its own avatar. The green is all of life, the red is animals, the white is the atmosphere, blue is oceans, gray is rot, blah, blah, blah. And together they form Captain Planet. That's all we got so far. So, make more sense?
Sure.
Okay, so over in Chicago of Earth 2, Dick Grayson and his wife Barbara Grayson, aka Barbara Gordon of Earth 2, and Ted Grant, yeah, my boy Wildcat, who is punching his giant meaty fist through zombies, and then notices that hunks of the moon are now falling down upon them, and he's like, yeah, it's another day on Earth 2, and as these giant meteors hit, Barbara gets buried under the rubble. And all I could think of was, we're gonna get you in that wheelchair, Barbara Gordon, if we have to blow up the moon to do it.
Yep.
But it says to be continued in next issue of Earth 2. So, see how we're getting the little vignettes over in Earth 2? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we want to focus in on this now. Which is kind of a nice way of doing this type of weekly event. Next up, under Arkham Asylum, Constantine has let out the Earth 2 equivalents of Brainwave, Obsidian, which eyebrow raised, Joni Thunder, and Carnival.
Not to be confused with Kid Carnival.
Not Kid Carnival, but
Shadow Pact villain Kid Carnival.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this is Carnival. Who ends up being racist, so Constantine shoots him in the head because he just doesn't want to deal with it.
All right.
It's like, that's just difficult. Obsidian in the old continuity was the son of Alan Scott, correct?
Yes.
He was the gay son.
One of the few gay characters of its time, yes.
Yeah, and now he's back, but I'm assuming not the son of Alan Scott in this one.
I would assume, yeah.
I would assume as well, so I don't know what they're going to do with that character, but I guess
you could have a love child before you figured it out.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
very true. Yeah.
There's plenty of options there. It was just in the old continuity, Alan Scott wasn't gay, but his son was, Obsidian, and now in this one, Alan Scott's gay, so we're not sure what's going to happen with Obsidian.
Plus, isn't new Alan Scott a little too young to maybe have a kid that's that old?
Yeah, he's probably late 20s, so he would have had to really been experimenting early to figure out where he fit into the world to have a kid this old. Next up, also in this one, to be continued in next issue of Constantine. So we get a little...
All right.
Here's our little plugs for those ones. So let's go through the next
Terrible New 52 Constantine that nobody wants to read about.
I enjoyed it. The last issue was the best one I've had yet, so I got high hopes for this. Next up, both of the Mr. Terrifics, Mr. Terrific and Mr. Horrific, Mr. Miracle, Sandman, Big Barda, Fury, and the World Army representatives have landed on Apocalypse in their spaceship. They've made it to the fireworks factory, Brian. Yeah. And they are going to shut down Apocalypse from the inside. And Barda and Fury are kind of like, well, we made it back home. This apparently may have some reverberations in another book that you may be doing next.
Oh, you mean Future's End number 30?
Well, I still have a couple pieces to go. I'm just saying there may be some reverberations.
Man, a lot of stuff happens in this book.
Yeah. Next vignette. Underground, Batman, Valzad, Power Girl, Red Tornado continue their hunt for Desaad and Huntress because Desaad wants to turn Huntress into the replacement Fury of Apocalypse. Remember he designed, there will be more purple for Darkseid. He's designed a costume for her. She has to wear it at least once. That's when her heart monitor that Batman put on her goes dead and Batman flips his shit. This is my grandkid. No, my grandchild.
Wait, that's not his daughter?
No, Batman of Earth 2 is actually Batman's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Who survived and is taking drugs to be super strong.
You just told me this like 2 days ago.
I did, and you just shunt it right out as soon as I say it. But on that rare occasion, something sticks and you just go, oh yeah, I know that guy. And then you get mad because you're like, why do I know that guy?
And I just reject it like a faulty baboon heart.
But But they calm down Batman and say, don't worry, we're going to find her and we're going to save her and probably have a fight with her because she'll be brainwashed to be a Fury. But we'll revert her. Don't worry. Last but not least, the Flash of Earth 2, Jay Garrick in this case, not Barry Allen, zips through New York City trying to find his mom and tracks her down just as all of the rage zombies are fighting through the pieces of the moon, crashing into the city as fire pits are erupting over there, and his mom's kind of like, what is happening? He's like, don't worry, Mom, I'm going to get you out of here. But that is when they hear more rage zombies approaching, being led by the rage zombie of Hawkgirl. And he's like, oh no, she beat me up when she was just regular Hawkgirl. Now she's rage zombie Hawkgirl. What will I do?
So there's a normal civilization on Earth 2?
Yeah. Just normal people chilling out. Matter of fact, they had less superheroes than Prime Earth than until recently, because they really only had the Trinity and a couple other people out there, and then they all got killed during Apocalypse's battle, and then half of them got shunted off to Prime Earth in a portal, so they were left without any superheroes for about 3 or 4 years or so.
And everything went okay.
Well, not really. It's better than it is now, I can tell you that much, because this planet, woo! I officially think this planet's done. I know there was ways to backtrack it. They were putting together Captain Planet, who has magic powers. I was like, maybe they can revert it. When the moon explodes and just starts crashing into the planet.
And you're starring in a book called World's End.
Maybe they're going to a tavern. I don't know.
Okay.
Last but not least for this half.
All right, Future's End number 30. In the far future of 5 years from now.
5 years in the future.
It's an attack on Cadmus Island, another highlight issue as we focus in on everything happening on Cadmus Island. First off, Lois Lane meets Red Tornado, which is her.
I was going to say, wait, 2. I thought Lois Lane is Red Tornado.
No, yes, Lois Lane, she meets her 2 Lois Lane.
She's like, oh my gosh, look at this featureless robot with boobs and arrows on it. It's a spitting image of me.
This is what I see when I look in the mirror.
Yes.
Only 7 days out of 30.
Shut up. Shut up.
So, elsewhere on the island, Green Arrow and the Outsiders, they're storming
the castle.
And Ollie, he goes and he takes his big super weapon arrow that took him months to complete, shoots it, just plink at Cadmus headquarters, and it gets destroyed in seconds by Brother Eye. And then all of the OMACs form together to make a gigantic super OMAC.
Yeah.
And just start stomping on all the heroes.
I absolutely love the fact that the Outsiders are there. He's like, guys, I'm just really good with an axe. That's like my power. I'm not really equipped to be here fighting giant Decepticons.
There's one lady that's good at punching things and only has one hand. She's not too good either.
Again, giant Decepticons. I'm good with an axe. That's what I got.
Elsewhere, close to the fracas, Earth 2 Lana Lang and Grifter take out Deathstroke by hitting him on the head with a rock.
Oh, at least it wasn't a coconut.
Yeah. So, and then as they go and accidentally stumble onto the assault, Red Arrow takes out Lana by accident and gives her a concussion with I don't know, like a rubber arrow or something.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't quite know what that
was.
But
we find out that Red Arrow is actually Oliver Queen of Earth 2.
Yeah, and they keep calling each other Ollie, and everyone gets really confused.
Yes, because they keep referring, hey, Ollie, what do you think? I don't know, Ollie. How about you, Ollie?
Yeah, and then and then after he goes like, oh, oops, I just gave this lady a concussion, Red Arrow gets his jaw broken by a not knocked out Deathstroke. Green Arrow threatens Deathstroke for hurting himself.
Kind of.
And then Fury rips Deathstroke's head off.
Yeah, and then there's just the panel of everyone looking around like, I wasn't expecting that.
I did not see that coming. Everything happened so suddenly.
So do you think it's just because none of them were ninjas? Like
Maybe.
If they were all ninjas, Deathstroke would have just tore through them like paper.
It's taken out by Earth 2 Lana Lang, who has electrical engineering powers, and then gets taken off by just a god rips his head off.
He's just like, yeah,
half
my
god,
instruction
demigod.
manual only details how to kill ninjas. That's all I got here.
Yeah, so Fury has Mr. Miracle with her. Barda's very happy to see Mr. Miracle, and he seems less so because it seems like they broke up and he's now seeing Fury.
Yes, so now he's stuck in the awkward position of these two rage women.
So wait, a chick ripped off Deathstroke's set.
Yes, Wonder Woman's daughter of Earth 2.
Yes.
With whom?
Steppenwolf. I like to think and dun 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 dun.
I don't even get that reference.
Magic Carpet Ride.
Oh, yeah.
You know, by Steppenwolf.
The only song we know by them. Yeah, so they assault Cadmus headquarters, and Brother Eye is taken form by completely taking over Power Girl's body. He's replaced her insides with a robot.
Well, like as we saw in the Future's End, everyone was spider robots.
Everyone was spider robots, yes.
So I guess Power Girl is the advanced model. I thought they were just having a really vicious girl fight when Barda was ripping chunks of hair out of Power Girl's head. I was like, ah!
Then there's only one thing that can stop this unstoppable, artificial intelligence that's taken over all of the electronical stuff on an entire island.
Okay.
Green Arrow takes a boxing glove arrow out and hits a big red button with it.
The self-destruct button.
Like, for real.
For real.
To hit the self-destruct.
The do not touch this button.
Yeah, that's the one. And but the best part is he pulls out the boxing glove arrow and everyone there's like, you're joking, right? And then as the glove arrow's soaring, it's Fury like fighting Power Girl going, are you kidding me? This is what our future hinges on?
Everyone flees the island except for Big Barda, who stays to contain Brother Eye. As they go to the lifeboats, Lois Lane shows up and like, oh, hey, Lois, you made it. Nice of you to join us.
You deciphered all my clues. Isn't it awesome that I sent you here?
Yes. They all get on lifeboats and look back as Cadmus Island explodes behind them. And that's how you destroy something that is artificial intelligence. You just blow it up.
Well,
except for the fact that Lois Lane's ancient cell phone now has a Brother Eye logo on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a wallpaper. She saw it while she was there and was like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool design.
A good design. Yeah. So that's where we leave. We see Brother Eye has stowed away on a cell phone, and no word on former Red Robin Tim Drake, who, as we all know, is currently living under the name Sprunt Grimbald.
But the robotic buddy of Red Tornado is just floating in the water going kazert as well.
Yes.
So Brother
I don't know
Eye
if that's important or not. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be in there as well.
Yeah.
So who knows? A lot of endings. How
many should we got left? Like 10, maybe?
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah.
We got like through 2.5 months, I think, of everything. So yeah, about 10 issues.
All right.
Wow, I didn't even put that together. Batman Eternal World's End and this have about 10 issues. So, guess we'll really start ramping it up with some of these.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we had 2 green arrows in this one.
Yes.
One was red.
Yeah, well, one was red, yes. And I love the Outsiders, but I don't think they're ready for their own book. I don't think the world's ready for a second.
They have their own book.
Do they?
The Outsiders?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it in 5th grade.
No, not that book. Why do you guys keep going back to that? Pony Boy is not a member of the Outsiders.
You like
Soda Pop, however. The lesser-known clan.
I just would like to see more Green Arrow leading those guys over there and having more interactions with them. I understand they can go fallow for now while we're doing something different because we just had that big year-long arc with them. So
the world is not ready for another Katana book.
No, not at all. So, Brian, what do you have coming up for round 2?
Well, that's a darn good question.
Yeah, I waited until you put your phone down.
I got Catwoman, I've got Infinity Man and the Forever People, Red Lanterns, and Justice League Dark.
And I have Oh, you mean Clown Shoes, as you called it earlier? Batman Eternal number 34, Superman number 36, Star-Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie number 4, and I will wrap up this show with Aquaman number 36, the greatest king that has ever lived under the sea. Or not. So, hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books. We are ready for the Bat half of the show. Beth, are you ready for Batman? Batman.
Sure.
Batman's ready for Bat.
No. As long as you don't talk like that.
Batman's ready for you.
No.
Batman's
Nope.
Batman's
Nope.
Batman's ready to go.
Nope.
Let's go, Batman.
Nope.
But we're starting off with Batman Eternal number 34, the last of our weeklies for this week, I guess. And it's a showdown in this particular issue because Julia Pennyworth, the daughter of Alfred Pennyworth, is in a match against Hush because she has showed up to try to destroy the bat caches throughout the city before Hush can cause them to explode and kill innocents nearby. So they're trying to destroy all the explosives inside each of them. Hush shows up, goes, "Hey, who are you? I don't like people interfering." They get into a little bit of a scrap. Julia shoots him.
And Julia just beats the crap out of it.
No, she shoots him through the shoulder with a grappling gun. Ow.
Yeah.
That would hurt a little bit. But Hush gut shots her, and she lays on the ground bleeding out as he sets the timer for the explosions to go
And
off.
I wonder if she's going to be okay.
Yeah, we don't know, but the explosion tears through the cache, destroying it, and alerts Alfred, who, of course, freaks out because his daughter was, of course, at that cache. Batman shows up and arrives to find out that she used the acid that was going to destroy the explosives to eat through the floor to, quote-unquote, safety. It looked like she fell 20 feet with a gut shot. I don't know if safety would be the word I would use, but they end up saving her and bringing her back, where Batman gets scolded hardcore by Alfred for bringing his daughter into this mess. Now, elsewhere, the government is putting the squeeze on Lucius Fox for domestic terrorism because Wayne Enterprises is tied to all of these bat caches throughout the city. And they say, if you can't get a handle on it, we're going to take a handle on it. We're going to do this our own way because you're not doing enough. Blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah.
how he lost his house.
Exactly. See,
There you go.
I told you it was all going to be explained. Jeez, patience. Patience, little one.
You're a liar. That's not how it actually happened.
No, it is actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's verbatim how it happens. Hush, meanwhile, has called out Batman, sent out a signal saying, "Hey, I'm at this bat cache right now. Why don't you swing by?" And Batman shows up to see that Hush has spent his free time building a throne out of bat weapons and has donned bat armor himself and has all of the bat gadgets. He's like, "I'm just like you, Batman. I'm just like you, Bruce Wayne. Woo! Let's fight now. I'm going to show you I'm the better one."
I start calling myself the Gotham Knight.
They have a slobber knocker. They beat the living loving crap out of each other. I'm talking just punches, kicks, knees, elbows, fingers, toes, everything. Chop, chop, chop.
Who won?
Batman, of course.
Oh.
It is Batman Eternal.
Oh.
If it was Batman ends at issue 34, then yeah, probably Hush would win. So he ends up beating him, but just as he prevails, it comes over the television that happened to be conveniently there that the government has seized Wayne Enterprises, liquidated all of its funds, fired all of its staff, seized the home of Wayne, the CEO there, Bruce Wayne, and it leaves Hush just kind of on the floor bleeding, going, "Ha ha, sucks to be you. I don't even want to be you anymore." Ha 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 ha. The end. So yes, Beth, that is exactly how he lost his home. He lost everything at the end of this. This Batman Eternal is basically detailing the reset of Batman to square one, it seems.
And nothing can ever go wrong by unemployed Gotham City workers.
Oh, no. I'm sure they all go home. They, file for unemployment, go and look for jobs, maybe update their skill sets, their CVs, and, find some new work. Nothing strange there. No homicidal revenge tactics ever.
No.
Ever. So this one seems to be ramping up for its big finale because if Hush isn't behind it all, as we suspected for a while now, obviously who is going to have to step out into the limelight relatively soon.
Rush will step out.
Rush, yes. Rush is actually behind it. It's that giant drum kit that's supposed to be doing it. They've been orchestrating it all. From Moon's drum kit.
Geddy Lee and his rogue Canadians.
We need the JLU. That's what we need to stop Rush. They're out of control.
Get your toques and back bacon.
But they're not
Hush.
next. They're not next. Brian, what do you have next?
I got Catwoman 36.
Is she designing inappropriate costumes for her new sidekick Jailbait?
No.
It's Catwoman and her fearless sidekick Jailbait.
This is, some hardcore mob action.
Yeah.
We start off, and Catwoman saves a guy who works for Catwoman's Calabrese crime family from the Black Mask and his assorted goons.
Yes.
I thought Catwoman stopped being Catwoman and adopted these business suits that she unbuttons down to her navel. What
of
are
course.
we doing?
I mean, you have to keep some things constant.
Yeah.
Zippers or buttons cannot be any higher than the navel.
Yep. Keyes and Alvarez are still really interested in the Selena Kyle person who keeps visiting all these crime families. If only we could be paying attention to our Catwoman case that we were dealing with before, but the Selena Kyle person is just so interesting to us.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to back burner the Catwoman thing to follow Selena Kyle.
And also, Alvarez, are we going to start kissing anytime soon? No? Okay. All right. So, Catwoman is getting a handle on the ugliness of organized crime, having to run drugs to keep other families happy so she can get what she wants.
Yes.
So,
making deals where she does not want to whatsoever.
Yeah. Also, a business called Ascolat Incorporated, one of the more unwieldy names in comics I've seen recently, is handling the reconstruction of Gotham, and it's all happy in the media, and not so much behind the scenes because it appears Black Mask is handling everything.
He's a weird character.
Yeah, he's changed identities a lot.
I'm talking from like the pre-New 52 stuff, even in the present, but the pre-New 52, he was almost a slapstick gangster.
He kind of was, yeah.
Very like weird,
but
silly.
then they like he would get killed and someone else would become the Black Mask and it'd be a completely different version of the character, even though he was called the same thing. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I was just curious if this is similar to what you've read before, because the only thing I've read is the Under the Red Hood one, where he was very comical for being a ruthless gangster.
Yeah, are we talking like the Judd Winnick era?
Yeah.
He had a wacky Black Mask. Yeah.
Wacky Black Mask.
Yeah. So and then Catwoman attacks Selena at home. It's a fake Catwoman, the one that was watching her from another building at the end of the last issue. And she yells at her for not being Catwoman anymore, and it's Aiko, the Yakuza daughter with the unfinished tattoo. She's yelling at her, Catwoman saves people! Why aren't you being Catwoman?
Girls with tattoos.
Well, she didn't get it finished because she was afraid someone would come and cut her foot off.
Yeah.
I mean, as we saw in Katana. Okay. I would probably put a hold on all of my tattoo plans if I lived in the DCU as well.
Yeah, she's like, Catwoman saves people. You need to be helping out Gotham, being a Catwoman who saves people. She's like, what Catwoman were you watching before, lady?
Yeah, I
am a petty thief. I failed miserably. If you want to help the citizens of Gotham, get in line to be another Robin, okay? So she sends her off, and deals with the problem with, okay, there's someone else who wants to be Catwoman now. That's not cool. And then, turns out Black Mask has, kidnapped her cousin Nick.
Yeah.
Who's been her, kind of one of her right-hand men.
Yes. Yeah, at least helping her out with the rules and traditions of gang life, I guess. So she does send people off to Alice Tesla, though. In this issue.
How did I miss that?
She just says, go see Alice and she'll hook you up with some of the spy gear so that we can keep tabs on Black Mask. And I was like, yeah, Alice Tesla.
It's nice that Genevieve is trying so hard to transition.
Well, at least make a nod towards what came before.
Yeah. Oh man, because I love picking up Keyes and Alvarez. It's almost comical in this very, very serious, crime drama book.
The two most inept cops in all of Gotham City. Who at least had a Wacky Races car during the Wacky Races era.
They did have a Wacky Races car, didn't they? Oh, man.
Catwoman. This one's very, very film noir, though.
Yeah.
Dark gangster.
Actual noir style.
Yeah, very, very gangster.
Yeah, not a big gangster fan, to be perfectly honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of like where this one's going.
Maybe we'll have to trade something.
I think it's going to tie in well with Batman Eternal and where that's going.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's going to become part of that whole storyline very, very, very soon when Batman comes in with Stephanie Brown and all that stuff, as we saw in the teaser issue. So
outside of Tony Soprano, just mafia stuff doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, fair enough. How about Superman? Does Superman do anything for you?
I like Superman.
Do you like Superman? He wears red and blue, and no underpants anymore. Ooh. Well, he might wear underpants.
He's going commando.
He's commando now.
He's commando Superman. So he's dealing with this guy named Ulysses.
Ulysses S. Grant?
No, just Ulysses. He's fighting evil and tyranny with all of his might.
Across the galaxy.
Across the galaxies. who was a normal Earth guy that got shunted off to another dimension when he was a baby, kind of a parallel to Superman's story, and has come back with superpowers and wanted to try to make Earth a better place, but figured out I could do that, but the people of Earth kind of suck balls, honestly. They really do. I mean, he comes on television, he goes, guys, I could solve all your problems. I could cure your diseases. I could stop famine, give you all the renewable resources you need, and you jackholes would still war with one another. So I'm going to come up with a new plan here. I have these giant arcs, these spaceships, because I am Ulysses fighting evil through the galaxies. And I'm going to make you guys a deal. The first 6 million people that want to come with me can come back to the planet that I was on, where everything is super hunky-dory and awesome. And then you guys can have good lives. What is that? How's that sound? Okay. First 6 million and go. Black Friday kicks off with a bang in the DC. Superman shows up and goes, what the hell, dude? What are you doing? You can't just take 6 million people off the planet. He's like, well, I'm not really taking them. I'm offering them a choice. If they want to go, it's their choice. Then Ulysses kind of flies off on his own. Lois and Jimmy, meanwhile, are running headlong towards one of these ships to get the big scoop. Gotta get the story for the Daily Planet. And as they show up, of course, how do you think the citizens of the DCU are handling this at one of the ARC pickup stations?
Very calmly and with a lot of restraint.
Oh yes, that's exactly what it's like, except the opposite, where they are fighting each other and beating each other up to try to get in line to be the first one there to get on these ships. The aliens, though, that are on these arcs come out and kind of grab the people that are fighting and going, you guys are idiots. You're fighting. No violence on the great world. You're no longer invited to join us on the Ark. And it's splitting up families, which is causing more strife and blah, 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 blah.
The aliens look cool.
Yeah, they do. Kind of weird, bendy people.
Yeah, Ulysses does not fit in well on that planet.
No, not at all. Ulysses, meanwhile, makes a quick pit stop by Cleric, the bad guy alien that showed up at the first issue of this arc. And he has a weird alien conversation that we can't read, but it's kind of awkward. And then he just kind of slumps his shoulders and walks out of the room. So obviously something is afoot.
It's an awkward conversation that you can't understand.
Well, yeah, it's because we couldn't understand it. And it's just all based off of facial expressions and the boldness of the font to tell that they're yelling at each other, or like who won the argument just based off of Ulysses' facial expression, and then his shoulders slump and he kind of walks off on his own. So yeah, it's awkward in that you can kind of understand it, but you don't know the words that are actually being said. Ulysses returns home and his parents are there and they go, well, hey, we're coming with you this time because we're not going to be apart. We missed you growing up to be the man that you are today, and we're going to follow you to this great world. And he's like, yeah, about that. To save your lives, don't get on these spaceships. Not that there's anything wrong with these spaceships, just don't get on the spaceships. And that's when Superman, Lurker Superman, who had already gone to his parents' house, steps out from around the corner and goes, why wouldn't they want to get on the spaceships, Ulysses? And this, of course, leads to a fight where Ulysses starts punching him around and beating him up. And he's like, dude, you're a good guy. This is why I need to beat you up so that you stay out of the way, because we need to load people up on these ships. And, you know how you said it takes work, it takes sacrifice to build a perfect planet? Well, the Great World has kind of built the perfect planet, and our sacrifice is going to be all these Earthlings that we take. So you just stay unconscious over there, we'll take care of our business, and then we'll be on our way. That's where it ends. Yay! Kind of a dark turn for Ulysses there.
Smidge.
Why can't you take
Didn't see it coming at all.
Not at all. But remember how we said earlier, the last issue, where it was, we're expecting a heel turn for this guy. I mean, it's hard for Superman to have super friends because anyone that shows up that's like him immediately turns evil.
Yeah.
And then instead of it being a ha ha ha, I'm evil, it was going to be a, I'm giving you guys this option, and what you do with it is kind of going to be the great antagonist in this whole thing. That just the choice itself was going to be the antagonist. And I loved that. I thought that was going to be a great setup for a good story. And then he does the inevitable heel turn and they punch him up fights. Other, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh man.
He was raised in a foster home.
Was he?
I'm going to say. No, I don't know.
An alien foster home?
Trying to figure out this whole psychosocial stuff.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Sure.
I liked that show.
They rickrolled people. Like
They did during the Thanksgiving Day parade. I remember that.
8 years ago.
Yeah. Call back. So, Brian, I have 2 books that I gave you. They're kind of linked. I didn't know how to really make them mesh together, so you do what you have to do.
I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm starting off with Infinity Man and the Forever People number 5, which takes place after Red Lantern's 35, as it so, conveniently tells us on the first page. So, we start off with there's a weird priest guy who is telling the story of Yuga Khan. The old god, that Uxus and Isaiah, his children, who killed him and became the new god's dark side and High Father. He claims to have the spirit of Yuga Khan and the anti-life inside of him.
Yuga Khan!
So he's going to take over the new gods, apparently.
Okay.
Kinda goes against that dark side issue I read a while back, where it's just like dark side was like literally fighting these gigantic gods who were stepping on his farm fields, kicking him off.
Hey, you stepped on my radishes, you damn old gods.
It was far more interesting than this, unfortunately. Meanwhile, back at the true story of the new gods, the Forever People?
Yes.
Yes, the Forever People. Some guy follows them back from the bar, Guy Gardner, and he wrecks their apartment and Kirby the hot tub boom tube machine, and he starts throwing up all over Big Bear.
What?
This is more Jersey Shore than real world at this point.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, there's these new gods that have set up camp, like teenage new gods.
They're
that
like
are kind of
on a
like Peace Corps.
Yeah, Peace Corps exchange student kind of thing.
That have come to Earth to try to make it better. And then Guy Gardner, the Red Lantern, just got his butt whooped by a bunch of new gods and has gone on this holy crusade to beat up every new god he sees. And he happened to track down the peace-loving kids that are kind of having a real-world house of gods, essentially, and came in and trashed their place and threw up fire blood.
Hate blood, all of them, yeah.
So what's their equivalent to GTL?
I don't even know.
Oh, man.
Don't think too hard on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got nothing. Sorry.
We're lost. Maybe next time. So the Forever People, they fight back using their still very, very ill-defined powers. And then the mother box goes off.
I thought they were very defined because remember the guy, he seems to have that megaton touch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still not that different from the other guy who has like gravity powers that do the same exact thing.
That are kind of like a megaton touch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the mother box goes off to warn them about something, and then Badge, Ox, and one of the robot lanterns shows up to help out Guy Gardner. Because why not? Why not?
So the squirrel, the cardboard box, and who else?
One of the robots. There's like 2 or 3, and I can never tell them apart. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, jug, super robot guy?
He looks more like a Voltron Power Rangers kind of robot.
Right. Does he look like a GoBot?
Maybe.
Does he look like Mach 1? Scooter?
So, continuing on to Red Lantern's 36, which is actually part of the Godhead crossover, not the Infinity people who are kind of
that's just
there.
kind of off to the side, just a little side jump
okay.
he does sometime in between these pages.
Yeah, so Guy Gardner has a death wish, but he at least wants it to be a good death wish, and he figures that, taking out a god might be a good way to do that after he got beat up by a bunch of new gods last issue.
It is a pretty glorious way to go, you have to admit.
So he argues with Simon Baz about it a bit. And then he decides to go and bug Cyborg to let him go to New Genesis and take out Malhedron.
You know what?
Because, you know what? You let Batman do it, and all the Robins do it. Why won't you let me go to Apocalypse?
Come on, everybody else is going to Apocalypse. Why can't I?
We know you're good for it. Come on.
I feel so bad for Cyborg, who really should just have like a bus fare token thing on his side.
He's like an elevator. He's the elevator operator of the Justice League. Yep, floor 2, ping, I'll press the button. It's so hard to press a button.
Second floor, Apocalypse, fire pits, parademons.
And lingerie. Actually, that's very appropriate, because when they do go over to Apocalypse, Simon Baz joins them, and they attack Malhedron and some gross Apocalypse lady Post-Coitus.
Yes, as they just finished Sexy Time.
Was one of the members of his wheel, so Malhedron was, sleeping with a wheel. And because they are fighting gods who are way more powerful than them, they wind up imprisoned in a box.
Wait, they get put in box?
No, not in box. I hope they're not inside box.
That's another awkward scene.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Is Baak smoking a cigarette in the next scene? It's very dangerous for a cardboard box to smoke. I'm just saying.
I know.
He's not the first Baak, right? Wasn't there another Baak?
No, there was
Bilious Zox, who was spherical.
Yes, he was round and the mortal enemy of Baak and his square shapes.
Yes.
Because he ain't got time for squares.
Yeah, so elsewhere...
As you shake your head at our stupid fun.
Elsewhere in the issue, Malhedrin earlier on, he went to Highfather, who showed off his White Lantern stick by just kind of shooting
got the magic stick.
Just kind of shooting it off into space at a planet. I don't know, but it might be important in one of the other issues of Godhead.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Laser light show. If only Clarion was there with that evil EDM band, they could put on one hell of a rave. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of liked this one a lot.
Well, it's fun with Guy Gardner, always.
It's the fact that it was just so awkward. They're like, he has his whole, St. Crispin's Day speech of how I will have a glorious death. I will take down these new gods and you're gonna come with me and it's gonna be great. And then they bust through the portal and it's like the new god that just whooped his butt is there smoking a cigarette.
Is there naked and beats him up while he's naked. Yeah.
He's like, not how I had seen this playing out.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yep.
I enjoyed that quite a bit. What'd you think of Infinity Man, though? You are kind of weird on this book.
I don't know what to think of it.
That's what's so great about it to me, though.
Okay.
This is one of those odd books.
It feels like they're not defining the characters at all. It's like there's like this vague, there's this vague sense of, yes, like, we are here and we're not quite sure what we're doing, but that also leaves me with the feeling of like, I don't know who you are and I don't know how I should feel about you.
Okay, fair enough. But I just kind of like the fact that you can have Bat Cow show up and then they make a supervillain named Scuba by implanting alien things in him.
Yeah.
Who is a pool cleaner / supervillain now.
Yeah.
And, accidentally make a bunch of Mantis people when they try to do their Peace Corps. I mean, it's so random and arbitrary and all over the place that I'm kind of really enjoying it.
Okay.
I really am.
All right.
I don't know.
Who writes this book?
That one is actually written by Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen.
Oh, the beloved person in all of the DC comics.
That's correct. You remember. See, you remember
can't
things.
get mad at a guy with that name.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. It's impossible.
Yeah.
The internet has proven that to be so.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to move us on to Star-Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie number 4.
There wasn't a colon book here today.
Well, there's a colon in that one.
Oh, well,
Yeah, because Star-Spangled War Stories, colon, featuring G.I. Zombie number 4. And it's Jared. He ain't just slinging sandwiches anymore. He's actually a zombie soldier. And he is facing off with nothing but a knife against a whole horde of zombies in this town that has been hit by a chemical weapon by this.
It's a knife.
It's a knife. And it's very graphic. Like he busts
Just a
in.
smidge, yeah.
Yeah, he busts into this, car garage expecting to find a shotgun hanging up over the counter because it's a small town Kentucky. And he's like, what kind of world do we live in where a small town in Kentucky doesn't have shotguns hanging over the cash register? Yep. So he's forced to fight off this horde with nothing but a crowbar. And it's very graphically smashing in the faces of these zombies. That's when the government, with the being led by Gravedigger, decides to help by napalming the entire city. So he goes, oh, better extricate myself from this situation, and climbs up on a roof and just takes a nap, I guess, like zombies do.
Yeah.
Wakes up the next morning to find the government has taken back over the town and is just burning all of the zombie people of the city and all of the animals and everything that was infected. And he finds Gravedigger. They have a little conversation, filling him in on what's going on. And one of the zombies drives by in a truck in a very odd scene where they're like, didn't know zombies could drive. And then it just crashes and explodes. And they're like, didn't see that coming. It's just so weird. Yes. But they finally ends the conversation with him asking about his partner, Carmen. Where is she? She's still undercover. She's gone with the second in command of this terrorist group that launched this missile. She hasn't checked in yet. We're just waiting for her to do so. The second half of this book is following Carmen as she rides along with one of the terrorists named Kat, and they go to a Dr. No-style desert resort / spa / evil supervillain in a volcano-style fortress, I guess?
Yeah.
And they are changed into the 70s version of future clothes. And that's when she gets to go downstairs and meet the guy that's in charge, who is eating breakfast surrounded by missiles while stroking his cat, ordering his henchmen. It's very James Bondish, kind of 70s James Bond, supervillain lair type stuff. And she's going to find out what's going on there.
Weird transition from the Kentucky hillbilly motorcycle gang.
Again, this book is doing everything in its power to defy being put in a box.
Yes,
because it's already, that box is full. It doesn't want to be contained in any type of genre, and it's very good because of it, I think.
Yeah.
Again, those weird scenes are you have the humor of him complaining about how he can't find a shotgun in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Very funny. The weird car driving zombie scene that was just awkward for everyone involved, it seems. Followed with this James Bond style spy stuff, the flashback of Carmen's backstory where she was in I would assume Afghanistan, where her chopper was shot down by an RPG and she survived the crash, but her unit didn't. And I mean, just cold, stark contrast to everything else that's around it. It's a hodgepodge, but
she was shot down by the Legend of Dragoon.
She was. Yes.
That's the one that stars Lavitz Lambert.
Secret of Mana came out of the sky and took out her chopper. It was a mess.
Man.
What can I say? So I figured, since I did occult zombie stuff, normally I would have Gotham by Midnight in there, but it was number 1, so I got it up in the front. Why don't you do some occult zombie stuff?
Okay, so Justice League Dark number 36.
Yeah. How does it match up?
Yeah. So we last month we dealt with the House of Wonders exploded. It shot
and what was the House of Wonders?
It's the House of Secrets and the House of Mystery. After it got busy and formed into one house.
Yeah, sexy time with houses.
Yeah, houses were doing it.
That's weird.
Yeah,
yeah, it was weird. We admit that.
Yeah.
Their love was a secret, but so was their house.
Yeah. So they exploded, and so Zatanna is off in some magical world that she made up herself. And this month we are checking with Nightmare Nurse, Swamp Thing, Spooky Andrew Bennett, and Frankenstein. They are all trapped at the end of time.
Not a good place to be.
No, it's literally like they're on a rock, and there's nothing really there. They're just kind of staring off into the eternal darkness off in front of them.
Well, this doesn't sound like a very exciting setting.
No, and it's like, this is weird. And then they get attacked by a bunch of bugs with human faces.
Okay, well that's a little
creepy. And then there's a bigger bug with a human face. It's Felix Faust. He's figured out how to live eternally, and as the world died and all the humans abandoned it, he stayed there to become the sole ruler of
this rock floating in space.
And he kept mutating and adapting to live on this place. And
he's like a cockroach?
He is. He's like this big cockroach centipede thing with a human head at the end of it. And he makes these little tiny baby versions of himself that go off and skitter all over.
Because he's lonely. So he keeps making creepy larva versions of himself.
Yeah, and so we deal with how would these people react at the end of time? And we see that, Swamp Thing, there's no plants left, so he can't connect to it, and he's dying because there's no green there. So Felix Faust feels bad because these are the other last remaining members of humanity. So he takes him over to this little rose he kept trapped in the last piece of sunlight in the world. And
so wait, does that mean Felix Faust and Swamp Thing are getting married? Because he gave him the rose?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be awkward.
Progressive.
A bug Felix Faust and a swamp creature.
Yeah.
I guess they could go together.
Yeah.
A lot of creepy crawlies in the swamp.
Yeah, he brings him back to life, and then, the rose dies. He's like, oh, crap. Well, there goes the last remaining bit of plant life in the world. It's now all inside of you, Swamp Thing.
Way to go, Swamp Thing.
Yeah. And then, the atmosphere breaks apart, and because he was the only person that was keeping it alive. And then a bigger bug, Felix Faust, comes cracking out of the world, or what's left of the world, because I guess that the one that was nice and had a conscience was actually one of his little bug babies.
Okay.
Like how the bug babies were coming out of the one that we liked.
So we literally have swarms of bug Felix Fausts running around at the end of time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
that's a creepy end of the world.
So these two bug monsters, they fight each other and they destroy the world. And Nightmare Nurse, who has been narrating the entire issue, I love that. Because she's got magic healing powers, she is able to conjure up a ghost boat, and they go fly off in this ghost boat into nothing.
Do they have to wear protection so they make a suit of armor out of pennies as well?
Yeah.
This could explain how this boat got underneath Gotham City.
Maybe.
So, Justice League Dark.
I like the Felix Faust, like, end of the world stuff of it, but, like, at the same time, narrated by Nightmare Nurse.
Yeah, not your favorite character.
Not my favorite character. And it's just, again, for something that's supposed to be all creepy and weird, it looks so clean and, like, antiseptic.
So what you want is more the stylish style that we're seeing over
I would love to see someone just completely off the page doing this.
Did you read the first 6 issues of this yet? Like the Milligan issues?
Yeah, I read those.
Where it was like kind of a creepier...
weird, like Superman getting attacked by teeth and stuff.
Yeah. Or all the stuff with the guy... Who's the guy with the vest? With the M vest.
Shade the Changing Man?
Yeah, Shade the Changing Man, where he kept making... clones of his dead girlfriend that would melt away as he was having sex with her and stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was some creepy, mind-bending stuff right there.
Now it's like they're just like, oh look, we are the Justice League Dark, a name that we hated and never chose and was put upon us by the government. Now we're just functioning like, oh yes, there is always a Justice League Dark and there always has been. It's totally a thing and we're a brotherhood. And it's like, I'm not buying any of it.
And half the members don't even want to be there at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew Bennett, Swamp Thing, who literally just threw a temper tantrum an issue ago saying, I'm done with your stupid team.
Yeah. Maybe we could just let the Justice League Justice League Dark go sail away off into nothingness. Oh yeah, and at the end we see that, who's left? Deadman and Madame Xanadu and Black Orchid are off in some creepy mirror world. Oh. And we're going to deal with them next month.
Do they have some, like, Enya playing?
Yeah. Some Orinoco flow.
Sail Away song?
Sail across the ocean.
No. Stop. Cease, because that gives me a segue. You said ocean. I'm doing Aquaman.
Okay.
That's my segue. Aquaman number 36.
He's sailing away.
Set an open course. For which sea? Oh, the Virgin Sea? I don't think Aquaman knows about the Virgin Sea. Okay, we're done. Aquaman is dealing with the fact that he found out his mom's tomb is empty.
And this is Maelstrom Part 2, right?
Yes, it is.
Not to be confused with Maelstrom, the character that was just introduced in Aquaman and the others.
No.
Awkward. Kind of awkward.
Nothing about that Maelstrom.
Okay. A little awkward.
Tomb under the
You think editorial would have caught that kind of thing?
You would think, but Maelstrom's a pretty popular name under the sea.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Killer or
Sebastian
Spike or yes, just like those. Aquaman has found this out, though, and has also found this out because Atlantis itself is very ticked off with them. The ghosts of Atlantis keep shaking the entire city because if his mom's alive...
The ghost of a city?
The ghosts of the city. Remember, all the residents of Atlantis, when they die, become part of the ghost network that is part of Atlantis.
Sure. Yeah.
And they are trying to tear the city apart because he shouldn't be king if his mom's still alive. So, who's the first person do you think Aquaman would go to find answers? Who in this book has been hiding something from Aquaman during every single arc that has happened?
That crazy guy, that 300 guy with the limp back that loves him.
What? Kind of.
Volko, yeah.
Yeah, his confidant, his member of the court
advisors. His best frenemy.
Yes.
Does he like him?
No,
now?
He's in jail. He's been locked up for the last couple issues. But even in jail, whenever something would happen, he'd be like, "Oh, I never told him about that." It's been this comical thing that he knows everything. He is the Shea Veritas of the under oceans.
So that he should know about his mom.
Well, that's just it. Aquaman immediately goes, okay, Volko, do your little thing where you say, oh, I never told you about this and tell me what's up with my mom. And he goes, I don't know anything about that. And there's this other guy standing next to Aquaman. And he's like, he's telling the truth. I'll be damned. He doesn't know anything about it because Aquaman has decided to bring Martian Manhunter to Atlantis to help him with this investigation.
Okay.
Last we have seen, Martian Manhunter and the Justice League are not best of friends.
No.
At all. They kind of hate each other. It's kind of a weird turn where all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, I'll just go hang out under the ocean. And he makes the excuse that he just wants to see what it would have been like if he went there instead of living on the surface. And Aquaman keeps making jokes like, well, we don't have much in the way of fire. Ha! But our cookies are all soggy. Sorry. So it's Aqua CSI time then. If they can't get answers, they're going to go to this crime scene where his mom supposedly died and figure it out, using Tula and Shin, Dr. Shin, and the archaeologist guy, Evans, who was down there as well, Martian Manhunter, Volko, Mara, blah, 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 blah. They go and use Martian Manhunter's psychic powers to figure out what actually happened. And what happens is that his mom, Atlana, was forced into a marriage with the general that was abusive. It sucked. She didn't want it anyway. She already had a son with Aquaman, being Aquaman up above, and just wanted to escape with her other son, Orm, back up to the surface. So she set up this whole thing where she was going to be able to escape and get away, and it was going to be a faking her death type situation at the theater. And that's where they lose her trail. The explosion happens. They swapped out the body. She ducks down into this catacombs, and they're like, oh, well, we can't end there. We have to figure out what happened. Hey, Martian Manhunter, why don't you tap into that ghost field that's all around Atlantis, and you can probably trace it and figure out what's going on. He goes, oh, here, I'll do that. And as soon as he does, he gets taken over by the Maelstrom that is intent on killing the king of Atlantis, in this case, Aquaman. And basically, it's Aquaman versus Martian Manhunter. It doesn't go very well. And Aquaman goes, hey, Mara, stay back, but cover me. And her only response is, you're going to do something stupid, aren't you? And he's like, of course I am. She's like, why did I even ask? I knew you were going to do something stupid. The whole time it's great because Tula's like, I told you to quit bringing people to Atlantis. And Mara's standing there going, you can tell him he's wrong. He's not going to listen. He just does what he wants. Trust me, I've lived with him for years now.
Jeff Parker's really sold me on Mara. I wasn't quite sure why they brought her back for the longest time, but yeah.
And Mara and Tula as like best gal pals that are really running the country, like behind the curtain while he's just off being like, I'm Aquaman, is so great to me. So Aquaman tackles Martian Manhunter, drives him into that underwater volcano that he likes to pose on all the time whenever he's like making an important decree.
Yeah.
And that shocks Martian Manhunter back into sanity and, yay, team. So the only thing Martian Manhunter remembers from when Maelstrom was inside him is that Atlanta was focused on this ring-like structure. And do you recognize it? It looks kind of like this. And they go, yeah, that's the portal. And it looks like a Stargate. I guess they're going to fight
Stargate.
Yeah, they're going to go fight creepy Egyptian gods now, I guess. I don't know. Boy gods, pharaohs, maybe. Kurt Russell's going to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Terrible TV show.
What's that?
The terrible TV show.
I like that TV show. Stupid midget. I like that TV show a lot. Even though every alien planet looked like upstate Canada, like northern Canada. I mean, it looked exactly like it, but Cosmos is very, very conveniently structured like that. Again, I love the background stuff in this more than the foreground stuff. As you said, Mara totally shines in what Parker's been doing. Completely shines and kind of steals the spotlight more than anything. But still at the same time, you can't have her stealing that limelight without Aquaman being who he is, kind of the brash charging in all the time and not really thinking his actions through. Plus, pretty good mystery. Decent mystery. So I'm sold. I will stick around and see what happens. Not that I have a choice, but I'm going to stick around by choice in this case. But I think that's it. Is that it?
That's it.
There was no books.
No,
Did Red Hood have another book this week?
No.
Okay. I was just making sure. I almost forgot them last week. So. That wraps us up. That's all the books for this week. Beth, what was your favorite one out of all of them?
I can't even remember.
How about Catwoman?
No.
Deathstroke then. Clearly Deathstroke.
I'll take the weird one. I have no idea what happened.
That was most of the one.
No, the first one.
Oh, Gotham by Midnight?
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. How about the one that just I played the TV trailer for and you didn't have to do anything?
No.
That one seemed pretty easy for you.
That was lazy.
It was easy. But we need you guys to do something for us. We need you guys to go out there and buy these books. Support them. Pick them up if any of them interested you, because there were a couple of really good ones this week.
Write dissertations.
Don't write well, I mean, if you want to write dissertations, your time, your money, do whatever you want, honestly. But I kind of see it as an entertaining hobby that, maybe we don't need to crack that deep into it.
No.
Maybe not. Just to me. Years of my life spent trying to decode and decipher and figure out all the things. Which is weird that
There's only one thing that people really need to figure out.
What's that?
What was Harvey Dent's race on Batman the Animated Series?
No, and it was Lex Luthor as well.
Oh, yeah.
Don't figure that out. Abandon that argument. Abandon all hope, all ye who enter that arena. Just do it. But do go out there and buy these books. Support them. Because if you don't buy them, they don't make them. Who wins in that scenario?
No one.
Yeah, that's correct. No one. Nobody wins. So do your part. Next week, we have another cavalcade of stories, shall we say. How many do you think we got for next week?
1,000,006.
1,000,006. Holy cow. That's a lot of books. No, not
18.
quite actually, right on the nose. Did you count?
No. How would I even count? I don't even know what books come out.
You have your phone. You could have looked it up.
I know. I know.
No.
There is no reason for me to.
I think it's actually 16, though, but whatever. So what do we have next week? Action Comics number 37 with Superman standing over the bones of a mastodon? No idea what's happening there. Aquaman and the others, where they're gonna go talk to Maelstrom? And not Maelstrom, but Maelstrom.
Yeah.
The other Maelstrom. Batman Eternal number 35. Detective Comics number 27. It looks like we get back on track with the Manipul Buccellato issues.
Okay.
Earth 2 number 29.
Hey, you're going to take the book back when Manipul comes back, aren't you?
No, I'll let you have it.
Okay.
You've paid your dues, I guess. Earth 2 number 29 covering the Barbara Gordon, who does not look to be in a wheelchair on the cover. So even the moon can't put her in a wheelchair. Earth 2 World's End number 9. Gotham Academy number 3. Woo. They're doing graffiti on their desks. No Batman. That's Silverlock, I tell you. Grayson number 5, who is traveling through the desert like Lawrence of Arabia, apparently. Green Arrow number 37. Green Lantern number 37, continuing the Godhead stuff. Black Hand's back in play. Creepy, comical Black Hand, I guess, but Black Hand nonetheless. Justice League 3000 number 12, showing Booster Gold and Blue Beetle fleeing from what looks to be the entire universe. Like, where are we? What's happening? Lobo number 3 and his indescript pals. Secret 6 number 1. You get Detective Comics, but that book, that's all mine. You, man. That's all mine. Sinestro number 7. Swamp Thing number 37. Oh man, that design. Lady Weeds as a member of the Machine.
Oh god,
looks awesome. And last but not least, New 52 Futures End number 31 as we steadily tromp towards the end of that weekly. So a handful, but a lot of ones we're looking forward to. So I'm kind of looking forward to next week. Anything else for you guys? Do you have anything you want to tout or pimp or anything?
Rocket Raccoon 5 is actually kid-friendly.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I thought that had kind of a rough start.
It had kind of a rough start, little more like teenage PG-13 jokes than I was expecting, considering the fact that their website flat out advertises it as an all-ages comic.
Yeah.
And, my son loved the movie, and I figured, this would be the perfect thing to get for him, and I've just sort of been reading them and enjoying the artwork and letting him look at it, but not read it.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, this issue, it's just a little side story where they're talking to some like space Boy Scouts or whatever and telling stories around the campfire, and Groot decides to tell them a story.
Is it more than a panel?
No, it's...
Or is it a lot of panels of I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot?
The entire story is told by Groot.
Okay.
Done entirely through the artwork and Groot talking. And there's bumpers and beginning and end. Is the first
Oh, of course.
Is the first comic that my son was able to read cover to cover, and he was so proud of it. So,
oh, cool. Well, that's a good thing to pimp.
Mm-hmm.
We like the new stuff for the younglings.
Yep.
As for us though, if you want to contact us, if you want to write to us, if you want to tell us, what do you think people would want to tell us, Beth?
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Yeah, happy birthday to Kelly because it was her birthday this week. If you want to tell her happy birthday, you can do so very easily. How do they find us?
By using the internet.
By using the internet. You just type in DCR podcast into your search engine of choice, web crawler, if that's your thing, Alta Vista, whatever you want to use. Just type in DCR podcast. You'll find all the junk out there. I did want to say thank you to those who did send nice grams to some of the various creative teams last week as part of our giving thanks to the creators for Thanksgiving. No one hashtagged us.
Very good.
No one, we did get some oompies, but I kind of just like the oompies. That's our new design, Beth.
What?
We're ahead of the curve. We're cool now.
What?
Oompies.
What's an oompy?
Well, instead of like an @ sign or an ampersand, it's a P with an umlaut above it. Isn't that how internet symbols work? You just make a symbol and ta-da, oompies. Doesn't do anything. It oompies. Okay, well, because I was telling you,
if only we could have the look on her face right now.
But if you want to do so, you can Facebook us, Twitter us, email us at feedback@DCRpodcast, etc., etc., etc. Feel free to do so. So without any further ado, Beth, say farewell to the lovely people.
Bye.
Brian,
Yeah.
say farewell to the lovely people.
Farewell to the lovely people.
And I say farewell, so enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.